Myself, D. Devaraja Shubha, Assistant Professor of Civil Department, Ponchesli College of Engineering. I am going to hand the paper Railways, Airport and Harbour Engineering. The subject code is CE, that is Civil Engineering 8702. Today I am going to teach you the topic elements of permanent way. So, what is permanent way? So, finished or completed railway track is known as permanent way. The finished or completed railway track is known as permanent way. So, the definition of this permanent way is the rails. This is rails. These are the things running parallel is known as rails. This is sleepers and this is the ballast. The rails fitted to the sleepers and to the ballast and the whole thing is fitted to the subgrade is known as permanent way. So permanent way is the combination of rails, sleepers, ballast, this fixers and fastenings means this is the join which are things used to join the rails and sleepers is known as fastenings. That is the screws, spikes, etc. is known as fastenings. So this permanent way is the railway track. So it is a structure consisting of the rails, fasteners, railroad road ties and ballast plus the underlying subgrade. So what is the purpose of this permanent way? So the permanent way is to provide the permanent facility for safety and quick movement of traffic between the starting point and the destination point. To provide the quick movement of traffic, commercial traffic between the starting point and destination point and to provide the safety. This permanent way costs nearly 40% of the total investment to the railway. So the permanent way is the completed railway track. So what are the requirements of this permanent way? That is ideal permanent way. To make the permanent way perfect, that is to make the permanent way ideal, some requirements are needed. So first requirement is the alignment of the track should be free from irregularities. So alignment is from the starting point to the end point, the alignment should be free from irregularities. The track should possess sufficient elasticity and it should possess sufficient rigidity and stiffness so that it may withstand the centrifugal forces. So centrifugal forces have the ability to overturn the vehicles. Any vehicle, the centrifugal force act on the vehicle, it will overturn the vehicle. So to withstand that centrifugal forces, the track which we provide should possess lateral rigidity and stiffness. The track should be designed that load of the train should be distributed uniformly over it. So track we provided should be designed in such a way so that the load should be act to the rails and next to the sleepers and next to the ballast. So it is the load of the train should be distributed uniformly over it. The gauge of the track should be correct and uniform. So gauge means the distance between the two rails. This rail and this rail. The distance between these two rails is should be gauge. It should be uniform and correct. The track should possess high resistance to damage at the time of derailment so that only the maintenance cost should be minimum. So the rail level should be same while on curves proper super elevation should be provided. So in curves and pro curves the rail level should be same and proper super elevation should be provided. That is the next requirement. So next requirement is the friction between the wheels of the rolling stock and rail should be minimum. So you all know what is friction. Friction means to walk on the road there should be a friction act between the our leg and road. Then only we are walking on the road. That is the friction. So this friction between the wheels of the rolling stock and rail should be minimum. Gradient means that is a slope. The slope should be uniform in joints, points and crossings. So we should design the railway track in such a way the gradient should be uniform in joints and points and crossings, and it should be maintained properly. Then facilities for repair and replacement etc. of damaged portion of track should be adequate. Facilities of repair and replacement should be kept in on some each and every places, so that only we can repair the track when we need it. So these are the requirements of the railway track. And next our topic is components of permanent way. So what are the components of permanent way, or what are the components of railway track? The components of permanent way are rails, sleepers, fasteners, ballast, subgrade. So rails are, this is rails. The two rails are running parallel to each other. Then this is sleepers. Then this is fasteners. This is ballast. This is the coarse aggregate is called the ballast. So the cross section of this railway track. This is the subsoil, next subgrade, next ballast. Then this is the ballast and subballast. Next this is the sleepers, this is the rails. So this is the cross section diagram for the railway track. So next is the rails. So rails are unsymmetrical I sections running parallel to each other. So this is the example of flat-footed rails. So there are some types of rails are there. The first type is double-headed rails. Second type is bull-headed rails. And third type is flat-footed rails. We will see one by one. So first one is double-headed rails. So in double-headed rails, the foot and head are, there is foot and head. This is known as the head. This is known as foot. That is the upper table or lower table. Maybe also called upper table and lower table. So this in double-headed rails, the top portion, that is the head and foot are same. The idea behind that is the rails run on the top portion of the rails. So after getting corrugated or after getting damaged, after some days it will really get damaged. So after getting damaged, they will overturn the rails. So this portion will be used for running the trains. Like that, they thought and they designed this double-headed rails. But what happened is this due to the impact of the loads, due to the impact of the loads acting on the rails, the bottom portion also somewhat damaged. So the idea was fully flopped, and this type of rail is not in use in Indian railways nowadays. So double-headed rails is also known as dumbbell rails. In the beginning, these rails are widely used in the railway track, but due to the idea flopped, now they are not using this rails. Next, this is the chassis and this is the wooden keys. So next thing is bull-headed rails. In bull-headed rails, the top portion is little thicker than the bottom portion. So the head is more thicker than the foot portion. Head dimension is more than the foot is called bull-headed rails. So in double-headed rails, the top portion and that is the head and foot are same. But in bull-headed rails, the top portion, the head dimensions are more than that the foot are called bull-headed rails. The head is here made little thicker by adding more metal to it. So this also require chassis for holding them in position. For making it to fit in the chassis should be needed and the wooden keys should be needed. So merits of this, bull-headed rails. So this bull-headed rails keep a better alignment, gives more better alignment and provide more smoother and stronger track. These rails provide longer life to the wooden sleepers and great stability to the track. These bull-headed rails give longer life to wooden sleepers. These rails are easily removed from, we can easily remove this from the sleepers and hence renewal of track is very easy. So next, demerits. So this bull-headed rails require more cost of iron and chairs. These rails require heavy maintenance cost as well as these bull-headed rails are of less strength and stiffness. So next rail is flat-footed rails. The first one is double-headed and second one is bull-headed and third one is flat-footed. So in double-headed rails, the head and foot are same. So in this bull-headed rails, the head is somewhat more than the foot. In flat-footed rails, the the foot was flat. So this then only this called as flat-footed rails. These rails have their foot flat. And then they are called flat-footed rails. So the other name of this flat-footed rule is Vignol's rails because this flat-footed rails was invented by the Charles Vignol in 1836. So it was initially thought these flat-footed rails are fixed directly to wooden sleepers and would eliminate the chairs and keys required for bull-headed rails. While fixing these bull-headed rails, we use the chairs and keys. Already I showed you the wooden keys and chairs. By using this only, we'll fix the bull-headed rails and double-headed rails. But for this fitting this flat-footed rails, we do not require any any wooden key or chairs. This is flat-footed rails whose base of the foot is flattened and the head is small. So only this is known as flat-footed rails. This flat-footed rails is invented for eliminate the chairs and keys. But that is required for the bull-headed rails. But later on what happened is there's what observed that heavy trains loads, the loads caused due to the train loads, heavy train loads, it caused the foot of the rail to sink into the sleepers and make the spikes loose. That the spikes means the thing which is used to connect the rails and sleepers, make the spikes loose. So to remove this defect, what they kept is they kept the steel bearing plates in between the flat-footed rails and the wooden sleeper. In between the wooden sleeper and flat-footed rails, they kept the steel bearing plates. That is steel bearing plates is this the plate made up of steel. So by providing the steel bearing plate, they avoided the problem that is making the spike loose. So these rails only they are nowadays they are commonly used in India. So the most commonly used railways in India is flat-footed rails. So the merits of flat-footed rails is the flat-footed rails have more strength and stiffness. It does not require any chair or wooden keys for holding them in position. These rails require less number of fastenings. So fastening also we need is less. Maintenance cost of track formed with flat-footed rails is also less. Demerits, fitting get, so already told due to loads, the fitting get loosened more frequently. So these rails are not easily removed and hence renewal of track becomes difficult. It is difficult to manufacture points and crossings by using these rails. So today we have seen the topics. First, permanent. What is permanent way? That is finished or completed railway track is known as permanent way. Next, we have studied about what is the requirements of permanent way. So you have to study what is the requirements. So next we have studied about the components of permanent way. In this components of permanent way, today we have studied only about the rails. Next class we will continue about the sleepers, fasteners, ballast and subgrade in the next section. Thank you, Sol.